Hey y'all, it's me, and it's late. I'm getting ready to head to bed. But before I do, I need to just get something off my chest. Um, and absolutely, it's nothing about anyone on this channel. This is something that I try my best to keep this channel non political. It needs to be an encouragement, and politics don't encourage much of anybody. Um, but right now I know that some of y'all have mentioned in the comments over the past year or so, that you're concerned about where the country's headed, about the different things that are going on inside of our country, and I am too. I am very much so. Um, and right now I'm in the process of listening to a book. I rarely read books anymore because um, Audible is my friend. when I'm uh, when I'm working on something, when I'm cleaning house, when I'm working in the yard, a lot of times I will have, my phone in my pocket, or I'll have an earbud in, and I will listen to Audible. It's my way to get a lot of reading in without actually opening the pages of a book. But the book that I am currently about 2/3 of the way through is a book by Liz Cheney called Oath and Honor. And I'm going to go ahead and preface this with my own, who I am politically, and who I have always been politically. Um, for the first 30 years of my adult life, I was Republican. I was active Republican. Um, I've always been very political, and it's just been the last few years that I've kind of dropped off the scene. But I was very, very active. I wrote op-eds. Um, I organized rallies. I was part of my local GOP here in the county. I worked in state, local, and federal campaigns of the candidates that I was supporting. Um, I worked the polls. Um, I was very, very, very involved. And my daddy was a Republican all of his life, and he was never politically active. But when I turned 18, my daddy said to me, he said, it was close to election time, and he said, you need to vote. And he said, it's every American's responsibility to vote. And I said, okay, Daddy, because my daddy was my hero. And I voted. He never suggested to me who I should vote for, and he never asked me who I voted for. But voting was a sacred, sacred duty. And it's discouraging to me to see so many young people that just kind of blow it off. I'm hoping that that tide will change, and that more and more will consider it as a sacred duty once again. But going back to this book, Liz Cheney is someone that I've respected for years. She's not perfect, but she is a woman of integrity that has a great deal of courage to do the right thing. And she has, in this book, she has told a lot of the background situation and a lot of the things that she was privy to, that the news media would never have known. But she was in these meetings, and she was on these phone calls, and she knew what was being said and done behind the scenes. I think it's important that we know, folks. I do, because I know that some of you are staunch Republicans. I am no longer Republican. I changed my party affiliation about 13 years ago to unaffiliated. And I still voted Republican part of the time, Democrat part of the time, unaffiliated part of the time. I've even voted Libertarian. I voted for the people that I felt like were the best leaders of the options. But after I've seen what I've seen over the past 6-7 years, I don't know if I'm going to be able to vote Republican again. And the reason I say that is because I feel like the Republican Party has lost their moral compass. I feel like they have followed a man and believed a man that is a consummate liar, who has no one's interest at heart but his own. And he has caused this enormous anger in our country, with a few news companies that kind of have given him a platform to spew these lies. And you know, that even Hitler knew that if you lied over and over and over again, you could kind of control people. They would begin to believe even the most outrageous lies if they heard them often enough. And it hurts my heart that it seems like that seems to be what has happened. And I'm having worked inside the Republican Party, and the reason I left the Republican Party was because I started about 15 years ago. I started seeing the hypocrisy of what was being done, and I started hearing all of these lies that were just falling out of the mouths of our political leaders, and with abandon. And I'm certainly not saying that the Democratic Party is perfect, because they are not. But right now, it's not a two-sided coin. It's not. This man is everything that a leader should not be. And he cares nothing about our country. He cares about his own self. And I honestly think that one of the reasons that he decided to go back into office, I think he loves and enjoys the power, but I think that he's trying to keep from facing justice. And he has committed so many crimes throughout his life. I don't know if y'all ever kept up with him. I've read books about him long before he ever became president. There's books out there that will curl your eyelashes. One, House of Trump, House of Putin. You should just pick that up and read it sometime. It's an older book, but it absolutely reveals the fact that Trump was Putin's puppet. And I'm talking seriously in that he laundered money for Russia. As a real estate broker in New York, he sold properties to Russia. It was a huge thing that he's done since the 80s. Ways that he would just all of the crooked, I can't even remember enough of it to share it right now, but it's worth the read. It is absolutely worth the read. It gives you a great deal of insight into his character, or I should say his lack of character. You know, I don't want a man that is so unprincipled as the leader of my country. We have too much at stake here. We have too much to lose. And for the first time in my life, I see the possibility that we could lose our republic. I've never had that fear before in my life, but I think that we're at a turning point, and if we don't make ourselves aware of what's happening, or an inflection point's the word I'm looking for. It's serious. It's serious, and I don't say these things lightly. I don't know. I just kind of stay out of politics now as far as being involved. But I just reached the point today where I thought I've got to do my part. I mean, Liz was courageous in being part of the J6 hearings and in writing this book and putting herself out there. And I thought, Patty, you can be courageous and talk to the people that you know, people that you have their ear a little bit, and just share the things that you're aware of. You can do that much for your country. I'm not telling anybody who to vote for. Absolutely not. I'm like my daddy. I want everybody to vote. I will not ever suggest you vote for my candidate unless I'm actually actively working and handing out literature and just saying I want you to consider this person because I think that they're a fine individual. But and I'll never ask you who you voted for because that's not my business. That's between you and the person that you're voting for in the ballot box. But let's not let our country slide any further downward. It's there's too much information out there about this man to just keep our heads stuck in the sand. And I tell you one thing that I've done in order to make certain that I'm getting correct information. You and I were avid Fox News watchers for 25 years, and then along about the time we decided to change our affiliation, we realized that we couldn't continue watching that channel because they were stirring the pot. They were sensationalizing everything. They were trying to make people angry. It's a fear and rage channel. Some of the other channels I don't agree with either. So what I do quite often is I actually watch congressional hearings. If that doesn't tell you what a political geek I am, nothing will. But I watch and or listen to congressional hearings. I listen to all the impeachment hearings and then the trials. I listen to the Mueller hearings. I listen to the Supreme Court, and if there's something specific going on in a local court or a national court that's important and I want to know what's going on, I listen to the court hearings. I listen to the people that they can't come out of those meetings and then go to a microphone and spin it. If you've heard it for yourself, if you've listened to both sides questioning their witnesses and you hear what those witnesses are saying, then they can't turn it. And I won't even go into some of the things that just are in the news right now and that are being so overblown that are inaccurate. Because if you listened to the congressional hearings themselves and the Senate debates, it's available. You can listen to those things. I'm trying to think of the news channel. It's not CNN. It's C-SPAN. But C-SPAN carries a lot of that, and you can educate yourself directly from the witnesses that are being questioned. You can hear the questions from one side, you can hear the questions from the other side, you can listen to the answers, and you can make a decision about what you think of that witness based on what you hear. You can also determine whether the Republicans or the Democrats are being fair, or if they're just trying to earn political points, or if they're just setting themselves up so that they can go and stand behind a microphone and have an opportunity to spew nonsense. And unfortunately, that's the point that it came to with the Republican Party. I just felt like that most of the time they were just looking for an opportunity to spew nonsense. And now I know that this is going to not set well with a lot of you, and I apologize. I'm not trying to have any kind of debate about this subject. As a matter of fact, I'm not going to turn the comments on for this particular video. And if you post something on another video, I'm not going to answer a political comment. This is just, and I'm going to leave a little notation at the front or a little comment at the very top of this. Now, I don't know if I can do that if I turn the comments off. But anyway, I feel like I need to do this. I just want to share Liz's book and just encourage you to absolutely read it or listen to it with an open heart and mind. And just when you're ready to vote in November of 2024, just think very carefully about what kind of country we're leaving to our kids and our grands, because that's my concern. Like I said, I don't agree with everything on the Democratic side. That's the reason I didn't change and become a Democrat. But I most certainly don't agree with what's going on in the Republican Party. It hurts my heart because that was my party. It hurts my heart. But they are no longer my party. I don't recognize them. And I don't recognize them as conservatives even any longer. It's just like they're, well, anyway, I won't go any further with that. Thank you if you listened to this all the way through. I appreciate it. Not trying to make anybody feel bad in any way about your political affiliations. I just want us to save our republic. I just want us to just step up to the plate and not let any political party just steal who we are as a nation. And I do love y'all, and I do appreciate the fact that you watch my channel. If this one video has given you the determination that you want any longer, then I'm sorry, but I feel like I needed to do this. And know that you are loved and appreciated. And I will talk to y'all later. Bye-bye.